Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Spellbinder's report on the unfiltered news from the reality zone, compiled by G. Edward Griffin for the week of September 24th through the 30th of 2011. This is the comic strip for this week, which is very interesting and makes a lot of sense with today, what's going on with corrupt government. Dad, I'm considering a career in organized crime. And the father says, government or private sector? Yes. Now to the headlines for this week. Video. Socialist collectivist Michael Moore calls for an end to capitalism at the Wall Street protest. Peter Schiff explains that capitalism has been vilified and that government partnership with Wall Street is not capitalism. No, it's cronyism. It's called crony corporatism and capitalism. It's not the real capitalism. It's cronyism. Infowars, September 30th. U.S. Department of Homeland Security is auctioning off land to pay down some of the government's debt. Plum Island is for sale, home of germ laboratory and animal disease research. The price is only $80 million because the biohazard cleanup will be expensive. No one really knows if secret experiments may have produced active harmful organisms. No, they don't. Just mutations. Daily Mail, September 30th. German lawmakers voted 315 to 15 to allow the EU to create more money out of nothing. I guess they didn't learn from World War II when Germany did the same thing in 1933, to once again bail out Europe's failing banks. The cost will be passed on to taxpayers in the form of inflation, but the media, bankers, and politicians are hailing this as a wise movement to avert financial disaster. For the banks and politicians, that is. Disaster for the common man was not averted. That was guaranteed. Yahoo, September 29th. U.S. The ATF says that anyone legally licensed to grow medical marijuana is not entitled to own a gun, even though the right to bear arms is guaranteed by the Bill of Rights. This is the same ATF, though, that sold heavy arms to Mexico's drug cartel. Is this not like the pot calling the kettle black or something of that nature? MSNBC, September 29th. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service wants to add 700 more animals and plant species to the endangered species list. You know, this will further cripple private use of land and water, which is the real purpose of the program, not protection or endangered species. Oh, it's just to take away your land and control your land so you can't do what you wish with your land. Most people don't pollute their own land, but if you want to build a house on the land and they have an endangered species in the area, you may not build your house. Yahoo, September 29th. Facebook is caught tracking the internet activities of its members after they log off. They said they really didn't intend to do it. It was just a software error. Yeah, right. Daily Mail, September 28th. U.S. The Center for Disease Control is calling households demanding children immunization records to intimidate parents who comply with the childhood vaccine program. And the vaccine manufacturers don't even have to pay the CDC salaries. No, you do, out of your taxes. Natural News, September 28th. North Carolina Governor Perdue proposes suspending 2012 elections for 2 years to give Obama and Congress more time to deal with the economic crisis. Apparently, she doesn't understand that more time they have to continue their same failed policies, the worse it gets. And oh yes, who needs elections anyways? Canada Free Press, September 28th. Anything? I'm expecting Obama to do an FDR on us and get us into World War III so he can stay in there 4 terms. Man, U.S. Inspector General says the EPA failed to properly research the finding that greenhouse gases poses a danger to human health, which resulted in needless regulations causing massive destruction of jobs. Yahoo, September 28th. And yes, they want to shut down all the coal-fired plants so factories don't get power, and so the factories shut down here and have to go somewhere else. That's another thing they're up to. ITV News is caught using scenes from a video game to show Gaddafi backed the IRA soldiers attacking a British helicopter. The producer said it was a human error in which the editors mistakenly selected the wrong film clips. Sure they did. Daily Mail, September 28th. Thimerosal is a vaccine additive that contains ethyl mercury, which the manufacturer says is safe. However, Dr. Paul King proves that it is even more dangerous than methyl mercury, which is generally recognized as harmful. Activist Post, September 28th. Yes, methyl mercury is what you get in your fish. When they say there's mercury in the fish, it's methyl mercury and not ethyl mercury. Think about that. So, what's in your shot's more dangerous than eating fish. Wisconsin judge declares that citizens do not have the right to produce or eat the food of their choice. The judge made the statement after his ruling over raw milk was questioned. A basic tenet of collectivism is that the group rights are above individual rights. The judge is saying that the group is represented by the state, and therefore ruling by the state are above individual rights to do anything. No now. September 27th. Yes, they're saying you serve the state and not the other way around. I always thought the state and the government was there to serve us and not the other way around, but apparently they don't know that. U.S. Occupy Wall Street protesters have close ties to Acorn and unions. You know, the USSR unions. That's the U in USSR is unions. Union Soviet people there. Also known as the Union of Soviet Republics is what it is. The Union of the Soviet-style Republic is what these people are. Like I was saying, when the unions are going to Wall Street, that means the commies go to Wall Street. Should be a movie made like that with that name. Oh yes, it's nothing but the Workers' Party is what the unions are. That's a Soviet thing. China, population police hunt down pregnant women who lack birth permits and forcibly abort their fetuses. Co-workers rat on pregnant women because they are threatened with punishment if they don't. Approach Times, September 27th. You know, they did this in Nazi Germany. If you didn't report somebody talking bad about Hitler and his government, then you would be arrested yourself. Huh. Sounds like the same thing again. New York police caught on video putting non-violent Wall Street protesters in a net and then spraying them with mace. Internet activists have posted online the name and phone numbers of one of the police. We do not agree with the collectivist socialist demands of the protesters, because most of them are actually what they call socialist that's doing this, because they're saying capitalism is bad when it's cronyism. But we strongly object to such actions by police. Daily Mail, September 27th. Here's something here. Video. Pipe tubes and bouncing balls play great music. It took 13,029 hours to build and align and calibrate this instrument. It's incredible to watch this. Okay. Monsanto. Glyphosate herbicide has been found in the air, drinking water, and rivers. Over 180 million pounds of contaminant in the environment every year. Monsanto knew glyphosate causes birth defects, endocrine disruptions, and cancer and other health damages. However, because of its powerful influence in government, its executives will not be held responsible. Natural News, the 27th. U.S. new EPA regulations will require 230,000 additional bureaucrats to administer at a cost of $21 billion. Over 6 million businesses will be subjected to the regulations. Now we know what Obama's job program is all about. This is out of Hot Air, September 26th. understand what this means. This means your money, more tax money going into bureaucrats' pockets. More people eating out of the government trough, even. Obama's so-called jobs plan contains a provision that established Canadian-American police to have jurisdiction in both countries. This is another huge step towards the merger of the U.S. into a North American Union, a super government, including Mexico as well. Voters are not being given a voice in this move. In fact, they are not even being told about it. PPJ Gazette, September 26. No, you're not being told that we're being forced into this North American Union. Maui residents have crafted a country ordinance to ban the release of aerosols and particulates into the sky, chemtrails. Natural News, September 26. At least somebody recognizes chemtrails. Gold and silver suffer big losses this week, but not because of a change in market fundamentals. It was because the commodities exchange sharply reduced the extent to which speculators can acquire gold or silver contracts with borrowed money instead of cash. Thousands of speculators had to sell a portion of their holdings to raise the money to protect the balance. This sudden dump caused a sharp decline in the price. Investors who lost money when Wall Street crashed last week had also had to sell gold and silver if they held any to cover their leveraged losses in stocks and bonds. The only people hurt were speculators who played the market with borrowed money anyways. Investors with cash did exceedingly well. Now that the sell-off is complete, the price of gold and silver once again will move upward as a mirror image of the decline in the purchasing power of the dollar and other fiat currencies. San Francisco Gate, September 26. Japan. Rice crops are found to contain more than 3 times the level of radioactive cesium than just a few months ago, indicating that radioactive materials are still coming from the damaged power plant. Officials responded as expected. They simply raised the standard so that the new levels of radioactivity are now pronounced safe. That's right. You know, you can take a dose deadly, but as long as they say it's safe, you won't be hurt by a deadly dose of radiation. Remember that. That's what they're telling you. It sounds so Orwellian. IB Times, September 26. Video. This news report illustrates the common ignorance of the value of gold compared to paper and fiat money. A TV reporter who is presented as an expert says that investors are getting out of the gold market because it is not backed by anything. She says that it is much better to hold government bonds and dollars because they are backed by the Federal Reserve. Honest. She really says that. YouTube, September 24th. Gotta see this video. You won't believe it. France requires sales of gold and silver over 600 must be paid by check, bank transfer, or credit card. Governments that issue fiat currencies do not want people to have precious metals because it allows them to escape inflation. The purpose of tracking gold and silver sales is to know who to visit if they later decide to confiscate it. Shaft plan, or shit hits the fan plan, posted September 24. Video. Nuclear expert Chris Busby says that the air in Japan is highly contaminated with radioactive particles that will cause heart disease, especially in children. Nuclear waste is transported and buried all over Japan, causing the entire country to become increasingly contaminated. His explanation of why they are doing this will shock you. GRTV, posted September 24th. U.S. retired Supreme Court Justice Stevens says that Obamacare likely will be upheld when heard in the Supreme Court based on a precedent set in 2005 when the court used Commerce Clause to rule against California over medical marijuana. September 28th. Video. Justice Stevens forgot to mention that after the court ruled against California in the marijuana case, the state nullified the law and ignored the court. Obamacare also can be nullified by the states. YouTube, September 28. Video. UK independent trader stocks BBC TV crew by saying that the stock markets are doomed and that Goldman Sachs rules the world, not governments. Beware, his advice about preparation is good, but think about his recommendation to invest in treasury bonds and US dollars are bad tips. YouTube. Snake oil cells. Part 2. Here's a rebuttal from David Robinson, the organizer of the movement to re-inhibit the Republic of the United States. It's in response to an article from Richard Michael dated September 19th. At the end, there is a counter-rebuttal from Richard. Lengthy comments to be sure, but very important for anyone considering this movement. Unfiltered News, September 28. Video. This short video explains fiat money and, most important, who benefits from it. It probably not you, but who? YouTube posted September 24th. That's a very good video. U.S. Tea Party Republicans bash Democrats for their socialist programs. You'll have to read the rest. I got to get off here now. Good day.